One of the most surprising success stories at the American box office this year has been the sensational popularity of a movie named Crocodile Dundee, a comedy about a wilderness guide from the outback of Australia and his adventures after he visits New York to see the woman that he loves. This is a movie that a lot of American distributors turned down. They thought American audiences would be turned off by the Australian accent and the Australian slang. But in the 2 months since it opened, Crocodile Dundee has been at the top of the national box office listings for 7 straight weeks. It has grossed $68 million. It has improved every week, another 12% last week, and has made a major star out of a laid-back Australian TV actor named Paul Hogan. Here he is, making himself right at home in the big city.
Mick Dundee from Australia. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I think good. This guy in town for a couple of days. Probably see you around.
Paul Hogan was not a Hollywood star when Crocodile Dundee opened, but he was known to a lot of American TV viewers because of his role as a spokesman for Australia on TV commercials. Here he projects a certain rough-edged, down-home charm.
You'll have the time of your life in Australia. Of course, we talk the same language. Although you lot do have a funny accent.
I guess at work they say there are twice as many American visitors in Australia this year as last year. Crocodile Dundee, meanwhile, is such a big hit that Hollywood executives are trying to figure out the formula so they can rip it off. And I can only imagine what lousy Australian actors we're going to see now visiting Chicago and Los Angeles. Right about next spring, I think. My notion is American audiences like Crocodile Dundee for 2 reasons. One, because Paul Hogan himself is an immensely appealing actor with a sort of Jimmy Stewart combination of authority and modesty. And 2, we're fascinated by this portrait of American society from the point of view of an outsider, a tough, no-nonsense outsider who's nevertheless never cruel, never bitter, but cuts through all of the anger and violence of a big city with his cheerful, good-natured charm. This is a truly escapist movie in which we are invited to identify with a man who can live life on his own terms and still be a nice guy.
Sort of a likable Dirty Harry, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that there's another thing going on which has kicked this into high gear. I think that there's a large audience out there, which Hollywood doesn't realize, which are people over 40 who are looking for what is known as clean entertainment, wholesome entertainment. This was the audience that was tapped into by On Golden Pond, which came out and made it a $100 million hit. And when enough adults, because I'm hearing from adults who don't go to the movies that often, that they're going to see this picture because the word of mouth on this film was built by word of mouth and advanced screenings, not by critics. It was built by that. They're hearing it's fun, it's old-fashioned. You mentioned Jimmy Stewart. It's recalling an old-fashioned, innocent kind of picture.
But you know what the funny thing is, when you talk about it being clean entertainment, if you look at it carefully, it has transvestites in it, prostitutes in it, a gay bar in it, it has muggers in it. So that what it does is it takes the people who are looking for that kind of entertainment and entertains them by showing somebody else who isn't looking for that kind of entertainment and who puts down all of these elements and people that they're afraid of or turned off by, so that vicariously, in a way, they can get titillated and at the same time be reassured of all of these wonderful values that Paul Hogan stands for. It's an interesting, more subtle movie than people might think.
And more successful than anyone expected.